How can you read a bar graph? Think about this question during the lesson. Look at the bar graph that shows how many species of animals are at various United States zoos. A bar graph uses bars to show data. What do the bars show? The bars show the number of species at different zoos. This arrow is pointing to the interval, which is the amount between tick marks on the scale. This arrow is pointing at the scale, which consists of numbers that show the units used on the graph. What do the scale numbers on this bar graph represent? The scale numbers represent the number of species at each zoo. Are scale and interval on a bar graph the same thing? No. The scale is a list of numbers evenly spaced, while the interval is a single number that measures the difference between tick marks. What is the scale's interval? The scale's interval is 50. About how many more species of animals are in the Minnesota Zoo than in the Phoenix Zoo? Let's find out. First, let's look more closely at the interval and scale. The scale shows a list of several numbers. If the top of the bar lines up with one of these numbers, then you read the bar's height exactly on the scale. For example, the number of species in the San Francisco Zoo is 250. Look at the purple bar for the Minnesota Zoo. Does the top of the bar align directly with the number on the scale? No, the bar does not align directly with the number on the scale. How do you read the height of a bar on the bar graph when its top does not fall directly on a marked line? You can use the interval to estimate the height using the lines above and below the top of the bar. In this case, the interval is 50. Use the interval number to help you estimate the data for the Minnesota Zoo and Phoenix Zoo. Look at the purple bar that represents the data for the Minnesota Zoo. What lines are above and below the top of the purple bar? 450 and 400 are above and below the top of the purple bar. The purple bar for the Minnesota Zoo is just above the number 400, so the Minnesota Zoo has about 400 species. Now, look at the green bar representing data for the Phoenix Zoo. What lines are above and below the top of the green bar? 200 and 150 are the lines that are above and below the top of the green bar. What is one way using the bar graph you can find the difference in species between the Minnesota Zoo and Phoenix Zoo? Skip count by 50s from the top of the green bar, Phoenix Zoo, until you are even with the top of the purple bar, Minnesota Zoo. Count 50, 100, 150, 200. The Minnesota Zoo has about 200 more species than the Phoenix Zoo. What is another way you could use this bar graph to solve the problem? You could estimate the number of species both the Minnesota and Phoenix zoos have and subtract. Now you know how to use a bar graph to show data.